Okay, so I've decided I use Samsung Pay a whole lot, uh, and I've decided that I'm not going to use the points for anything. So there's this potential giveaway where they're giving away 60 free vacuum cleaners, and for 15 points each, you can enter. And I want to spend all 3,000 of my points trying to get the Jet Stick vacuum. So I want to point out just how long it takes to do a single one of these. So we hit Jet Stick Vacuum, scroll down, we hit I agree, play now, confirm. It gives us this little wheelie thing. The wheelie thing implies that there's like a good chance to win, but there's not. So the wheelie thing is useless. Then it says better luck next time. We go done, win a Jet Stick Vacuum, scroll down, I agree to the terms of service, play now, confirm, watch the wheelie thing again. Wheelie thing is useless. There's no point to the wheelie thing except to make you feel like your chances are better than 60 in 1500. But you know what? I got 3,178 points, and I'm going to use them 15 at a time, watching this little wheelie thing to get my Jet Stick Vacuum. Do I really want the Jet Stick Vacuum? No, what I want is to not have these points having accrued over and over. And you can't get gift cards with it anymore. You can collect like 60,000 points to do that. I'm on platinum level, so I qualify as like making 2 purchases a day for 20 months in a row or something through Samsung Pay. I don't know what it is. I'm also at the point in the day where I'm doing the hand twitch, but so I just want to get rid of the points. I want the points to go away, and the only thing that they're offering that I vaguely give a shit about is this Jet Stick Vacuum. So I've decided, you know what, whatever, we're gonna just sit here and do this all fucking night. We can just do this all fucking night. It's great. Just failing to win the Jet Stick Vacuum with all these steps. Why are there so many steps? I want to use my points. I want to use my points. I just want to do it by just throwing them away on this fucking giveaway. Why is it so hard to spend these? I'm gonna be here for 6 days just trying to win this Jet Stick Vacuum, watching this fucking little wheel. And it's just one animation. It always ends on the same blue cube thing. And I just don't want to have these points anymore, and I don't know why I'm here or what I'm doing with my life. I don't want to watch this wheel. I don't want to win this vacuum. I just want to use up all the points. And I had 3,800 and now I have 3,082. That's so long. It's going to take me forever to use up these points, 15 at a time, but I don't want anything except this Jet Stick Vacuum. I don't really want the Jet Stick Vacuum. I just don't want to have the points. I don't want the points to keep accruing. That's not what I'm here for. That's not what I use this app for. I don't want points. I want them to go away. I don't want to watch this animation. I just want this. I just don't even want the vacuum. I just want it to go. I just don't want points anymore. What am I gonna do with all these points? I don't want your fucking lemons. What am I supposed to do with these? Demand to see life's manager. Do you know who I am? I am Cave Johnson. I'm the man who's gonna burn your house down with the wheelie thing. I'm gonna get my engineers to build a combustible wheelie thing that burns your house down. That's what I'm gonna fucking do. Fuck this job. I hate my job. I was at work the other day, and I was straightening something out, and sometimes I just talk while I do things, and a lot of the time those are just anxious things. Like, I'll be at work and I have anxiety about something that I've said to like a customer or my coworker that might make them not like respect me as much, and it's usually nothing that they've even noticed. It's just stuff that they notice. Nobody notices but me, but god do I rely on it. And so I'll like be in the middle of something and you're at work and you can't just be like, I want to die in the middle of work. uh and also I'm trying not to say that because I don't actually want to die. I just want to have not existed during the time that I said something stupid. Why are there 40 clicks to enter this every time we're officially under 3,000 points? So that's an advantage. And so I was holding this big ass batch of flowers and fake flowers. I'm just holding them, trying to put them back on the shelf. So I've got them in one hand, and I've got my little handheld thing in the other hand. I'm getting the planogram numbers because all of them look exactly the same to me, and all of them were in the wrong spot, so I had to build the whole planogram again from scratch. And I'm doing this, and I have this moment where I just got anxious and I had to say something to get it out, and I just went, what am I doing with my life? And I meant it like in the past, but I realized later that there was a customer in the aisle behind me who watched me at work just go, what am I doing with my life? And so, oh, we're close to me, aren't we? And so I worried about that, but you know what? Whatever. I closed the store tonight. I probably lost the store $40,000 or something. Like, that's fine. I don't care. I mean, I do care, and that's the problem. That's how I got to where I am, is by like caring enough for people to give a shit and think that, oh yeah, that's Pink. Pink does good work. And I don't want to be that person. Like, I have enough dignity where have enough dignity where I'm gonna show up and do a good job because that's what I do. But I hate my company, and I don't want my company to do something good, and I don't want to be putting forth more effort than minimum for like 50 cents above minimum wage because I'm a manager and I get 50 cents an hour above minimum wage rolling in the bank. Got the big dollaroni coming in. Got the grande dollaroni, the big bucky, and it's just like, I'm glad I'm that disposable to my company that they're not gonna pay me something. You guys ever listen to Good Riddance? Good Riddance is fucking awesome. They're the true prophet. They make Green Day's American Idiot look like the false prophet. Also, just want to say, I'm pretty sure Billy Joe Armstrong would be happy knowing that he is the false prophet Billy Joe Armstrong. That's a good thing. But Good Riddance has this good song. I can't take a pause from this to look it up, but it's track number 8 on Symptoms of a Leveling System, which is a good album, so you should check that album out. Just watch Good Riddance. Wheelie thing, fuck you. Just watch Good Riddance. They have a song and it always ends with like, we don't, you're now a number, you no longer have a face. It's so good. Such a good song. And I want to like do a Keytar cover of it, but I can't really scream, and it's kind of a screamy song. That whole album is really good. It's from like 2000, 2001. It's a pre 9/11 album, and it's got a song about building a wall being shitty. It's just like, okay, cool. They're the prophets. That's fine. Yes, we live in a world where there's prophecies. You guys ever think about when they were crucifying Jesus and everybody told him that if he was the prophet, he should prophesy? And so he's literally dying on the cross and everyone's just like, prophesy, bitch. And he didn't. You guys ever think about how that's like some kind of symbol because all of the Bible is some kind of symbol? Like, there's a bunch of cool shit in the Bible. Like, if you want to be like, the Bible is not fact, but there's cool shit when someone starts going, oh yeah, I'm the Bibler. And you're like, okay, cool. How do you feel about tattoos, bitch? You wanna fight me on tattoos? Like, I don't have any tattoos, but you know what? I should. I should just get a Keytar tattooed on my ass. I should just fucking get a Keytar tattooed on my ass. Which Keytar? Okay, everybody in the comments, tell me what Keytar I should get tattooed on my ass. Tell me that. So my contacts are out, so I honestly, like, the reason I keep holding my phone up to my face is that it takes about to here to get into focus. So I can't see this screen, and it's also reversed. They didn't flip it because it's on QuickTime. I'm not recording this on, photo booth. I'm just recording this with QuickTime. Just talking about life, recording this. I was watching this dude. That was not a secret white power thing. That was just my hands anxiously doing stuff. I was watching this dude who was playing the Majora's Mask randomizer. He was playing the randomizer. He's played the game so many times that he doesn't even need to think about what he's going to do once he gets the items. He doesn't think about, oh, how do I get in here? He's not solving those puzzles that are intended in the game. He's solving puzzles that are created by the randomizer giving him items in the wrong order. It's great. And he's just talking about life as he does it. He's just rambling about how he feels about, like, death and, like, seizures he had and his thoughts on life and reality. And I went, I could do that. I have all sorts of weird shit that I talk about all the time. I can just say whatever the fuck I feel like. Like, what am I gonna do with my life? You know, I don't, like, what am I gonna do about that? I have, like, I got a blog about Lolita fashion that's popular. I got a YouTube channel about Keytars and my cat that's popular. And, like, I could be making a video right now about, I just got a Korg RK100, the old one, the vintage one. And I have not made a video about that because I have been too busy sewing suits for bears. My friend is getting married, and she's getting married on a cruise. I'm gonna have to put off this video, uploading this video, until after her wedding now that I'm sharing all this detail. But she's going on a cruise, and one of the rules of I mean, I guess everybody knows this already, but one of the rules when you're getting married on a cruise is that you're supposed to pay for the tickets of everybody on your wedding party. And she can't afford that because that's incredibly expensive. She's getting married on a Disney cruise. That is not an inexpensive event. And so instead, her wedding party is going to be this collection of teddy bears. She collects things called Duffy the Disney Bear, and she has the largest collection outside of Japan and China, I believe. I know it's the largest collection in the United States of different Duffys. And so I'm making all these suits to match her wedding stuff. And I don't know if you know, I think everybody understands, like, this. Okay, so we have 2,522 points to go through. So, hang on, I need water. Oh, I have a Duffy bear here. They look like this. They don't come with the booties on their feet. But, so I have, no, I don't want a 65-inch frame TV. I just want this vacuum cleaner. That's the other thing. I could switch to the more expensive one, but I don't want a frame TV. I already don't have any wall space. If I want anything, I just want this damn vacuum. So I'm just going to enter all 1,300, 3,000 points I have. But so, you know when you're, like, knowing you're going to enjoy something once it's done, but it's not done yet, you have to work on it? Because you can't get the enjoyment of making something if you don't put in the work, but you don't want to put in the work. Like, I'm going to be so glad I made this when I'm done. I'm going to be happy. What if I got a tattoo that went, like, up there onto my side cut, and then when I decide that I don't want the tattoo anymore, I can just grow my hair out on top of it? That'd be cool. Like, I could get a fucking thing. Also, so I think that I recorded this, on my camera over there. That doesn't matter right now. You can't see where it is anyway. But I'll put that in. I bought a roll-up piano on eBay, and they sent me a poster of a piano. So, but I could get, like, a piano there. Like, get a piano and then a cat. It'd be like something from the Hunger Games. Where, like, I guess I could get laser hair removal on that side, which would also be cool. I'm gonna burp. Okay. And, so I could get laser hair removal. Anyway, so I want to be done with it. I want it to be done, and I'll enjoy it once I'm done. But right now, it's just been that thing where I've been working on it, and I've been working on it in small batches for so long that it's just this constant, ever-present thing of, like, I'm doing something else. The brain's like, you should be working on the bears right now. And I've had so long to do that, and I'm still crunching it all into the end, but I didn't want to do I didn't want to start a new expensive and complex project when I should be working on the bears being a complex and expensive project. It's not my money, but, you know, it's a complex and difficult project, and I knew that I should be working on that instead of working on other stuff. So now it's been, like, denying me the things that I want to do, which has been an imposition I've been putting on myself. What is with me making this gesture all the time? I should put the phone back in this hand so that I can go back to doing my flaily spandhasm. Spandhasm, that's a real thing. You have a spandhasm. So, so I'm just going, like, what am I. So now the bears have been this constant present thing, and I do actually need to work on them, but it feels like it's just been denying me all this, and that is my own doing, but I don't know how to handle this situation. I don't know how to go back in time and handle this any better, with the exception of, like, having days dedicated to really working earlier, and then balancing out my other hobbies with that. But even that isn't gonna work, because I have this psychological thing where, like, I couldn't get work done with it until, I couldn't do work on it until I had hit this point where I knew that it was, like, where I go, okay, done is better than perfect, but non-completed. And I had to get to that point in the stress level, which was December and January. I had to get to that point, or else I couldn't make anything because I was too afraid of messing it up. And I had to reach a point where the deadline was important enough that I could tell myself, it doesn't need to be perfect. This doesn't need to be finished on the inside. You're putting it on a fucking bear. Sorry, it's a nice bear. They're nice bears. But where I had to reach that point where I could say, alright, here's what's going on. I need to get this done, and that means I can do this, and that means I can do that, and that means I can do all these things. And if I'm doing all those things, then everything's great. We only have 2,257 points to go. So, if I go, I gotta get it done, and done is important, then I can do it. But that meant that I had this block until this point, until the crunch. You know nothing of the crunch. But until the crunch happened, why is there tape on my foot? There's a piece of tape on my foot. It's not on my foot anymore. It's there now. And still didn't win. I still haven't won this. I look stupid. So, I had to, get to the crunch, or else I couldn't do it, because I'd be too worried about it being perfect and about it being right. And so I just had to do this in this way, but now I'm so stressed out about it because I still need it to look good, but I need it to get done, and I can't really post about how done it feels or doesn't feel right now because I can't freak my friend out. She's already stressed out. This is her, big important thing. I need more water. Life is good. And so it has been giving me the advantage of every time that I go to work, it's got this, like, advantage at work that I'm not working on the bears, and I'm not feeling guilty about working on the bears because I'm at work. And, like, they very recently made me a manager, so now I can't do things like call in to work and say that I'm sick, but actually I'm just working on a project, which, like, I haven't called in to work at all yet this year because it's February. And so I have to get them done, and I don't want to freak out my friend, but I'm not at a point where I can't finish it, but I'm at a point where if I don't work well on it, I'm not gonna finish it. So, like, that's, I gotta get it done. But also, so I have reasonably serious bipolar disorder. I'm not, like, I would say, like, oh, it's fine, you just go on meds and the meds work it out, and that's true, but I am constantly balancing a lot of things, which is either I'm balancing symptoms, or I'm balancing medication side effects, or both. And one of those things is that it's 11:03 p.m., I'm sitting here trying to win a jet stick vacuum that I know I'm not going to win, to get rid of points that arbitrarily exist that I don't need, that I'm not doing anything with, and they've just decided that they bother me right now, so I'm trying to use them up. I'm just like, what am I even here for? Why am I doing this? But so I will, like, I take medication at 9:15, and one of those is I am maxed out on Seroquel. So the FDA has approved a certain amount, certain doses of things. That's like generally a useful and important thing is saying, oh, you can't do that. But I'm maxed out on Seroquel. They cannot prescribe me more Seroquel, like a higher dose, without violating FDA rules, which goes off label and insurance won't cover it. Seroquel is $1,800 a month without insurance. And Seroquel XR, regular Seroquel, is cheaper, but whatever. So that's expensive. And so that hits at a certain point like a fucking freight train. Like, we're on the way there. We're on the way there. And I can tell because, you know, when you in the space, when you're a pilot and you're where you need oxygen, and then you have to solve a problem and you're not where they test people in this like hypobaric chamber where they teach people how to remember that, like, when they have hypoxia they need to put their mask on because your brain will focus so much on one puzzle that it doesn't know to put your mask back on, and then you die. But so it's that sort of thing where, like, right now I can tell that I'm gonna get hit with the Seroquel, partially because I get hit with the Seroquel every single night. But also because I'm focused so much on spending these points that don't exist and are for a thing that I'm never gonna win this. They're only giving out 60 for I'm gonna start showing this to the screen every time that I do it. 60. There's 60 vacuums. That's your chance of getting it, is 60 out of however many times you do the thing, you might get one of 60. Like, that's not very many. I could be going for the earbuds. They were doing 100 earbuds, but you know what? I want the $600 jet stick vacuum. That's what I want. That's all I want out of my life right now, is to do that. And I can tell that part of that is I'm focusing on that so much because of Seroquel, but it's also a relatively easy task. It's time consuming because I have to watch the circle go every single time. But so it's not a difficult task, and so I can do this. But it is a time consuming task. But so I couldn't sew right now, and I can't pull all nighters. I'm limited to certain hours in the day. Also because I took my pills at 9:15. Lithium dry mouth really has hit. So yeah, I'm not like super unstable in terms of bipolar, but I am, I deal with a lot of side effects, and if I don't deal with the side effects, I deal with like worse stuff. And the thing is that I would rather be physically ill from pills and have stable mind than have my body working really well but not have my mind functioning. And it's one of those things, like, my relationship with bipolar is very strange, and it's I think that, like, I have worse bipolar than most people who are functional, but not as bad bipolar as a lot of people who, like, you know, a lot of people who have bipolar don't want to be medicated because the good parts of bipolar are really good, and the bad parts are a reaction to good parts going over the top. Like, that's how that works. And when I say good parts are really good, I mean good parts feel really good when they happen. I had a hypomanic episode that got between all my meds, and I got in trouble at work because I gave $400 of discounts in, I gave $400 of discounts in like 3 days. And the store noted that I was number 4 on the most spenders, or the most discounts. I was on a list of people. They make a list of the top 5, and I was number 4. And so that's, you know, not good, but usually I spend my money, so I found a loophole around that, just got caught at work. And that's me checking out what's inside my ear. It's not inside my ear. I have a section there that, like, the thing right in there, that thing. You can probably see it better on this side, but the part that's not the ear canal but is inside the ear, I was like, something in there. It's probably I have really scaly ears. Like they're not scaly, but they shed a lot of skin, and then I have to pick that out. It's gross. But so like spending money is fun, and you can do it really fast. Is that kind of thing? We are down to 1,777 points, and so sorry. So I have like that sort of thing, but it feels good. And people who have less severe manic episodes also don't often process that that's what they're having. Like hypomanic episodes, your bipolar 3, whatever. Um, you're just able to work really long hours without being tired. You're able to process a lot of information. You're really successful, and a lot of people don't want to give that up just to make the depression go away. But the depression hits, and the depression hits hard, and also like, you know, full manic. You don't know. That's what I'm talking about it. But full on manic episodes are really, really bad. And I had one of my 19-year-old former coworkers' friends on Facebook, and she was posting bipolar memes, but she doesn't have bipolar. And then she said that I was gatekeeping by saying that bipolar is a medical condition, and manic episodes are a medical condition, and they're not a colloquialism for being stressed out. Like, manic episodes are a thing, they're not pleasant. And then, being a total adult, she got another friend of hers to come in and tell me that I'm disgusting. And I am disgusting, but it's not because of bipolar. It's because I have a lot of issues with wearing lotion and the texture of that, and so I don't put lotion on my feet, and they just scale up and they break off. It's awful. And also I pick my nose with my tongue when I'm driving. So I am disgusting. Let's get that straight up established. I'm disgusting. But so and then it was like, you can't say that mania is a side effect of drugs when again it is. Having a manic episode is a lot like being on cocaine. I know because I've asked people. I haven't been like, "Ooh, hey, I had a manic episode. Let's do some coke and see what's that going on." But having a manic episode is your brain just DIYing its own drugs. So you got that going for you, which is nice. But and like a bunch of stuff about how they were offended, and I was wrong because their emotions overruled actual facts. And so I just kind of I just fucking blocked. I don't need strangers coming in and telling me that I'm disgusting because medical facts disagree with their opinions. I'm sorry that your bipolar disorder is not so severe that you understand how offensive and difficult it is when somebody who you care about decided to use it as a colloquialism to explain how stressed out and bummed they are. Like, here's the other thing. If you need to self-diagnose, I live in the United States, so saying that you can't self-diagnose, that self-diagnosing is a bad thing, is just kind of a shitty thing to say when it costs sometimes like $1,300 to get diagnosed. But self-diagnosing and then saying, okay, I probably have this condition, so I have the internet and I'm going to look up what it takes to handle this condition. I'm going to reach out to other people who have it to see what I can do to maintain this safely so that I don't need to go and put myself in massive debt to be able to see this medically, to be able to get this treated medically. Like, that's a legitimate setup. But when you're like, oh, I don't have bipolar disorder, but I have manic episodes, I'm like, well, you're not on cocaine, and you don't have advanced syphilis. Those are the main ways that you can have manic episodes. Bipolar disorder, advanced syphilis, cocaine. Sometimes ecstasy. But you don't have that going for you. So you've got, I was just like, you know what? I don't need somebody who says that they're my friend and says that they care for me do that. Like, I don't go around posting memes about being fat. And I don't go around posting memes about being trans. Because I'm not. either of those. Sometimes I can post memes about having eating disorders, but that's a whole different thing. Like, I'm fine talking about bipolar disorder, but don't get me started on, like, the fact that it's only when I go, like, really long-term depressed that pops up, and it's not because I actually don't like my body. Like, my body is fine. I have more fat on my tummy than I really want to have, but not so much fat on my tummy that I feel like, well, I have talked for half an hour, okay. But it's not so much, like, fat that I don't like how my body looks. But when I get really depressed, my brain is like, how can I be miserable? Let's check this out. Ooh, do you want to do this? Do you want to hate yourself for eating food? I'm like, no, I already hate myself because I'm not working on the bears right now. I don't need to hate myself for eating food. Food is necessary. But that's not how depression works. So anyway, we are. Do you guys remember Boxy? Like, who got. Fortune was obsessed with her, and then they doxed her and they didn't like her and things like that. Did I ever tell you guys I know, like, people who I was 1 degree of separation away from Boxy? I haven't told anybody that because I haven't talked about that in, like, 10 years. Yeah, the internet's old. So I've been working on the Bears, and I've been watching Code Lyoko. We are still at over 1,000 points, so get ready for this shit. So, I've been watching Code Lyoko while I work on the Bears, and I got so many questions. Like, they really, really gloss over a lot of things that I think would be relevant. Something that I really like about the show is that I can ask questions like this and they're not answered. I like that they're not answered. It's like Firefly is really good in our minds, but it wouldn't be good if it kept going because it just had a bunch of potential that we could see, but we never saw what was done with it, so we could think about it and it could be good in our minds. But, so there's a lot of Code Lyoko stuff that I have questions about that don't get answered. So there's a character named Aelita, and I'm gonna just bust out some spoilers here. So, spoilers for a show that was made in 2004. So, Aelita lives on a digital world, and they establish things like that she can hear and see but doesn't have other senses. So she can't smell something. I got questions about, like, at one point she's running and she wipes her brow. Like, does she, like, digital sweat? Or did she see the other people do that and they do it out of habit, so she did it to blend in? They don't go over that. But they end up materializing her into the real world, and I don't want to be doing this anymore. I don't want to be doing this. But they materialize her into the real world, and she talks about how different the world is. But just imagining the overwhelmingness of experiencing the world for the first time. But then it's later revealed that she's not a completely digital creation. She is a human who was uploaded into the system, who had her human data deleted, which meant that to materialize her, they had to come up with the data from her digital code, the data of being a human. And I think that's why she has pink hair, just as a side note, because nobody else in the series has pink hair. But her materialization program was come up with by a 14, 13-year-old kid who's just really good with computers, and that's a massive task. And I think he probably, when he was adapting it, never thought, like, you go through tests and checks and things like that, and the materialization program initially comes up with pink hair, and he's like, yeah, she's got pink hair on Lyoko, this is normal, let's just give her pink hair. But I like to think that the pink hair is actually abnormal, and it's just the thing that nobody questions anymore. But so, she was a human, so I'm wondering, like, if, when she was materialized, if the thing that being human in the past kept her from becoming so overwhelmed, because instead of experiencing all these things for the first time, her body was experiencing them like it had experienced it when she was human. Her consciousness remembers being human, even though she doesn't remember being human. Her body can remember that, and it could tell her what it was like to be human. And so when she breathes for the first time and smells things and can touch stuff and things like that, her body could her brain could have a gating mechanism where it doesn't overwhelm her. And that's the only way I can think about that, because imagine if you only remember existing for about a year. You didn't remember existing before that, but you had like almost adult consciousness and understanding of yourself. So you have that going on. We're at 1,147 points. And then you suddenly end up going from a digital world where you didn't even have the ability. There has to be some feedback. When Jeremy says that she can only see and hear, she has to be able to touch things on some level. She doesn't phase through it. So there has to be something that tells her body, stop, you're touching this, that isn't seeing and hearing. Like, it's not like you're gonna slap into something and you don't know it unless you're looking at it. So there gotta be something like that, but still, like, feeling the sensation of your feet on the ground all the time, and the ground is different, and there's textures, and you're, like that's a thing that they really gloss over. And I also have questions about Xana's power, specifically in season 1, because it feels like something that they kind of worked on was this idea that the more he was exerting in the real world, so Xana is a nefarious artificial intelligence. Xana attacks the real world. It's never completely clear on why, but attacks the real world and then prevents them from deactivating him by creating monsters on Lyoko. And it's sort of clear in the first season that the more effort he is exerting in the real world, the fewer monsters he can power on Lyoko, which works out really well because the kids, there's only 4 of them. There's 5 of them with Aelita, but she doesn't leave Lyoko. So there's only 4 of them, and the more complex that the problem is in the real world, the fewer of them that there are to fight him. So, to fight the monsters. So if they have 2 people who are distracted in the real world, there's fewer monsters for the 1 person to fight. And so that's handy, that's useful. So, part of me says we just hit under 1,000 points. Part of me is like, you should just really stop doing this and go to bed. It's gonna be another hour of you just rambling into the computer while you do this, and then uploading it in a batch to YouTube, and just being like, sorry guys, this isn't a really good video. But it's a thing. I just really feel like I should do that. I'm like, I should stop this. And I said, but what if during my points, what if I won? What if I won and the camera wasn't going? What if I won? What would I do with that? How would I handle this? What would I do if I wasn't recording this when I won? So we're just gonna be here for another 967 points. So that's kind of an interesting thing, and it's sort of present, like it's an idea that they had, but they never establish it in the show. They just had it when they were working. And so, if that's one of those things where Xana has limited power because they say he. Xana, I care about a rogue artificial intelligence's pronouns. But so the more that the limited power, where he doesn't have unlimited power, he has to activate a tower, and then he has a limit within that he has to work with, is a really good concept that they don't address in the show, but that I do think is present. So that's one of those things. So yeah, Aelita's avatar influencing her image, but probably not actually her human body. Also, I feel like there could be really interesting subplots with as Aelita grows up as a human, unless she has her human body restored when she has her memories restored. I haven't watched Code Lyoko since 2013. I watched all of it in 2013, and I watched it before that, like, since high school. And so, I don't remember if she has her body restored when she has her memories restored, but she does have her memories restored. But if she doesn't have her body restored, having bizarre complications later in life because your DNA was recompiled from a digital avatar by a 13-year-old is a really cool concept. Like, uh, that I think adult Code Lyoko could have done interesting things with. I wrote fanfic about it, but where, like, you know, adult Aelita has to go back to Lyoko uh, to rematerialize herself properly, um, to change things like get herself some work appropriate hair, and have so to change some things like what if her main motivation, and I hate that this was like my first thought because it's very cliche and it's very OMG women, but like she can't have kids and she wants to have kids, but when a 13-year-old boy was recompiling her DNA, he didn't bother to check all her reproductive organisms, not organisms, organs, my bad. So he so she like that sort of thing where there's oversights, like she doesn't have an appendix or something like that, would be a really interesting concept. It'd be like a Code Lyoko fucking thing. It'd be a cool concept. Also, I think that if he's not agender or gender queer in Code Lyoko, Odd Delarobia absolutely becomes agender or genderqueer later in life. I just think that'd be great. Also, if Odd is trans, I feel like her name after transition should be Agnes. That seems like if your name is Odd Delarobia, Agnes Delarobia seems like the sort of name you would pick. Um, that's a thing. Shit, we're still at like 700 points. I just want him to go away. But so, that was my thought for like them as adults. I don't think Yumi and Ulrich keep going out because who is actually marrying, apart from my grandparents, who's actually marrying the person that you dated when you were 15? They're dead now. They were both like 90 to 93. So, I don't think that they would stick together, but I think that they'd probably stay really good friends, especially because you have this experience. When you have an experience that you can't share with anybody else, and that you can't even tell other people that it happened, you have to stay with them. I want William to die. I just want William to die. He's an asshole. And I know that a lot of people are assholes when they're 14, and I shouldn't judge him for that, but he's a fucking asshole. I want William to die. In my Code Lyoko fic, William dies. They don't ever get him out of Lyoko because I don't like season 4 so much that we're just not going to include it in my fanfic. But so, William dies, and then they have to live with that guilt as well. He dies, they can't bring him back, there's no return to the past that can restore. At one point, Ulrich very clearly says, we all know that if somebody dies, if there's a victim, returning to the past won't bring them back to life, which I know was just exposition for the audience, but also, how do they know that? How do they know that if somebody dies, they can't bring them back to life by going back in time? Also, what happens if you die? Do people remember it? But did they have to find out that going back in time doesn't bring people back? Did they have to find that out the hard way? We are at 45 minutes on this video, and we still have 577 points to spend. And this was originally supposed to be like a 1-minute video showing how boring it is to do this. But guess what? We're here. So, did they learn that early on? Did they have people die and they can't bring them back and they feel like they did a bad job? And also, like, so in Killer Music, there's an episode called Killer Music where Xana releases an MP3 that he can control and put people into comas with. It's a cool concept. And also, I feel like that's probably a relatively low exertion day for Xana, which would be effective but leave him with enough power to fight whoever they send to Lyoko. And So Xana has this power, and it makes people's hearts beat at 40 beats a minute, which is less than 1 beat per second. And they have big groups of people where it happens. They show bodies in the street. They show that the cardiology wing of the hospital is full. They can't get more cardiologists. You hear that beeped overhead. Somebody had to die from that. What if your heart was already weak? What about Meemaw? What if you're playing the song Bad When You're Glad with Meemaw in the room? Meemaw's already got a pacemaker. Xana can take out her pacemaker. It's a computer. He can do that easy. Meemaw's dead, man. Meemaw died. They're not bringing Meemaw back. So we see that it looks like they don't kill anybody because it's a kids' show, and because they bring back everybody who we know. But if that spread through the whole city, somebody had to die. They have episodes where you're like, someone died. Somebody died on this. There's an episode where Xana turns off the gravity and people fly into the sky. Someone dies in that. Like, we see that Ulrich doesn't die, that his dad doesn't die, which is important, but, oh my gosh, stop that. We see all of this. We see that Ulrich doesn't, die, but they have people hanging on by a thread. What about your 5-year-old kid? Some kids died that day. People who were there who couldn't hold on. Meemaw is dead again. All your Meemaws are dead if you live around Katak Academy. And if they go back in time, do you remember who they were? If Meemaw dies and they go back in time, do you forget that you had Meemaw? Or do you just not know how she died? You have no memory of how she died, but she's not there anymore, and that's not discussed. Like, maybe there's a ghost show about that where people just keep disappearing and you go, this city's weird because people disappear and they don't know that it's because somebody is going back in time to undo giant natural disasters and unnatural disasters. There's a zombie episode of Code Lyoko. And so, like, they don't go over that, but they could. And that's what I love about the show, is that I have all these things where I go, this could be really dark. This could be really, like, complex and interesting. This is probably what's going on behind the scenes here is way more interesting than that. And I love that. And I don't want to be doing this video anymore. I don't want to be doing this shit anymore. How many points do I have? 352. We can do this. We're in the final sprint. We can make this happen. Anyway, I think that there's a lot of shows that have really cool potential, but then there's also shows that, like, fill that potential. Like Stargate SG-1 ran for 10 seasons, and almost everything that they did, like, honestly, I don't even watch the movies now that I know what happens in them, because Teal'c climbing a mountain while children's choir sings is an excellent moment, but, like, all the stuff with Ghoul, they do, that to a point where they stop doing it because it stops being, like, interesting. So they fill that, but because they fill that potential with really entertaining characters that you care about, and because they fill that potential with well thought out storylines, it works really well. But there's also shows that you have big questions about that make you ask questions, like Firefly, where you go, all these things could happen. Although, recently my younger sister was rewatching Firefly and pointed out that the production values are not as good as we all remember it being. It's kind of like when they did Ocarina of Time 3D, and everybody goes, oh, I remember it looking like this the whole time. And then you go back to playing regular Ocarina of Time, and you go, oh, okay. I'm getting sleepy, but I got less than 300 points to spend. That's fine. I got 262 points to spend. We are in the home stretch. But, so, you've got, see? That's Circle, right there. Yeah. So, then there's stuff that, like, you have a billion questions about, but that you don't really want answers for. Like, The Mighty Boosh. The Mighty Boosh is it's one of those shows where, like, I can't tell my friends to watch it because they're a little bit too progressive for it. but also I really, really, really am glad that I watched it. I sing Nanageddon sometimes at work, but the first season of The Mighty Boosh is set in something they call the Zooniverse, which is them all working in a zoo, but you don't know if the zoo is real, you don't know if it's real, if it's located within our reality. And so that's very, very interesting. I don't want to win the TV. I mean, I want to win the TV, but whatever. Uh, but so you have all these times where you're like, is the zoo real? They have people who visit the zoo, but do those people know that it's not real? Like, the guy who's in charge of the zoo, it's a running joke that he doesn't know what animal names are. Be like the large one with the pouch. He doesn't know what they're called. He doesn't know what they're called. And so, like, how did he get that position? Did he have to apply for it? Or did this universe appear out of nowhere? Just spontaneously arrive. And it just had all these people in it. Is that how Howard and Vince were created? Was everybody there created at the same time? They have a time where they open an my foot just went to sleep. They open a closed exhibit and there's just werewolves living in it. Or they're not werewolves. They are they're mod wolves. And Vince is king of the mods. So they get respected that way. But there's all these things. There's a guy who went missing in the exhibit. It turns into cheese. It's really, really gross. It's really gross. But so that all happens, and you go, okay, what universe does that happen in? We are down to 97 points. We only got like 3 more rolls on this. This is my last chance to win. So I'm so tired of watching this little wheel. So that's the thing, and then later they end up sharing an apartment, and then they open a Emporium, the Naboo-tique, because one of the characters is named Naboo. And they have this whole thing with sorry. But they have this whole thing going on with that, and you don't understand what's real and what's not real. And then Old Greg is from the Mighty Boosh. Old Greg is never explained. Old Greg just happens. And in that episode, there's a person where there's a moment where they ask somebody's opinion, and a piece of nan bread with a face sits up and says something, and everyone says, "Not you, nan bread," and the nan bread lies back down. Nobody talks about that. And I know a lot of people who say, oh, I don't like Absurdism. This is going to be the last one. I've only got 22 points. It costs 15 points each. I'm going to use the rest on the 1 point things to see if I can win. I think it's more points. I don't remember what the 1 point thing is. Cool. So I don't have enough for that. I only have 7 points. We can win the 10 million point giveaway. That's going to be 7 more times. But sorry. Yeah, that's me, like, trying not to throw up. It happened. What? I fucking won. Okay, no. I just won 10 million points. I just want the points to go away. What happened? What have I done? How did we get here? Okay, but this is my only chance to get rid of these 6 points. So, I'll give away a total of 10 million points. Point quantities vary from 10 to 100 points. Okay. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. I won a maximum of 100 points. I won 50 points. Shit. Well, I mean, now I can enter the, now I can do the vacuum thing a couple more times. Okay. Which is fine. This is fine. I had all the points used and I fucked it up. But, so, like, there's all these things that aren't explained. And I know people who are like, oh, I don't like absurdism. But you know what's just absurdism for children? It's not Code Lyoko this time. It's The Emperor's New Groove. Like, there's a coherent story, but it is told in a completely bizarre way. There's a moment where Pacha is holding his leftovers in a tinfoil llama. That's never explained. Because they live in a world where there's like logic, but there's not a whole ton of logic. Okay, we just gotta okay, you can win 10 points getting galaxy buds. So, we're gonna do that. Please tell me I didn't make more points. Alright, I did not make more points. We're good. We're at 0 points. Okay, we're at 0 points. Everything's fine. We're at 0 points. So, yeah. The Emperor's New Groove is absurdism for kids. And on that note, it is 11:39, and I'm gonna go to sleep. I don't know if I should upload this video to YouTube now, where I can't regret it, or after I've slept, where I can have thought about it. Whatever I do, I know I'm not gonna sit through 55 minutes and 58 seconds of rewatching this video. It's just gonna happen. Maybe I'll put it unlisted. Maybe I'll put it unlisted and then I will post it in one of those YouTube commenty things so that you can watch it once, and unless you bookmarked it, it's gone away forever. So, on that note, thank you for sitting with me for 56 minutes of me playing an absurd, useless game at night when I should be sleeping. Good night.